Hello, everyone. I'm Todd Keisling, and I'm here to read a new story from my new collection, Cold, Black, and Infinite Stories of the Horrific and Strange. It is releasing on September 26th from Cemetery Dance, and I'm not sure when this video will go live, so it may already be available. In any case, if you like what you hear today, go buy it. This story is called The HAPPYTOWN Yuletide Massacre. If you're a fan of slashers, if you're a fan of Hallmark movies, you might enjoy this one. A little bit of setup. Angela's on her way home for the holiday from her big city job, and her car breaks down outside of town, so she has to walk it home. Her mother isn't home. And the old two-story colonial where Angela grew up is draped in shadow. She stands on the front porch, rings the bell, and listens for the creak of old flooring or the warm call of her mother to say, "The door's unlocked." It isn't. Angela's tried, and the house is silent save for the hum of the basement boiler. She checks her phone again. No signal, which is odd, even for a tiny burg this far from the city, but Angela isn't worried. "Guess I'm not done walking." She shoves her hands into her pockets and sets off back through the neighborhood toward downtown. Not much has changed in the years since she moved to the city to be a big shot professional. Then again, she supposes small towns like this one never do. Neither do the people. Always so stuck in their ways, never open to new things. I'm so glad I got away when I could. But here she is once again, preparing to waste another Christmas away in HAPPYTOWN, where the old dramas are still unfolding on a cosmic scale. Old feuds and rivalries, small town gossip and scandals for all its quaint sameness. HAPPYTOWN is never boring. It's hard to be bored when you're the talk of the town year after year. Your relationship exploits a hot topic for the duration of your stay. Who will Angela fall in love with this year? She wonders aloud, her breath lithe phantoms in the chill breeze. And will it stick this time? Find out this Christmas on The Young and the Hopeless. Angela laughs quietly to herself. The levity keeps her company in the cold as she makes her way through her old neighborhood. She daydreams of hot chocolate and a good book while curled up in front of her mom's fireplace, perhaps snuggled next to a warm body, someone like... No, not someone like him. Or him, or even him. Maybe someone new. Someone new. Is that even possible in a place like HAPPYTOWN? No, she supposes it isn't, and sooner or later she'll reach the bottom of the town's available bachelors. Surely there's someone here who's the perfect match, the perfect yin for her yang, the sort of fellow who's a manly man but not too manly, ruggedly handsome but in touch with his sensitive side, the kind of guy who can fell a tree and then paint a beautiful landscape in watercolor. Is that too much to ask for? Angela looks skyward, giggling as a snowflake kisses her nose and nearly trips on the sidewalk. She stumbles forward, cries out with a yelp, and when she realizes the crumpled shape isn't someone's carelessly tossed garbage bag, but a person in a black parka. The coat's folds are slick and shiny with blood, and when Angela realizes it really is a person and not some other sort of detritus, she tries to stifle a scream rising in her throat. What escapes is a pitiful squeak, a shrill punctuation that echoes throughout the empty neighborhood and succeeds in making her feel impossibly small. Heart racing, Angela kneels beside the figure and nudges back the parka hood. The sight of the dead man's pale face steals her breath, halts any other screams from progressing up her throat, and for a frozen minute, she can't look away. Because she knows this face. This face, with a viciously deep wound bisecting its forehead and glassy eyes staring into nowhere, belongs to Richard. Her first HAPPYTOWN love. He helped save her mother's bakery from bankruptcy back when the economy crashed, stood up to the greedy land developer trying to swoop in and buy the property out from under her. And now he's dead of a massive head wound. By the stunned look on his face, he didn't see it coming, whatever it was. "Oh, no, Richard." Tears well up in Angela's eyes. She's thinking of all the good times they had together. She's thinking of the way he wanted her to quit her job and move back to Happytown, or the way he wouldn't put the goddamn toilet seat down. She collects herself and checks her phone. Still no signal, and now the battery's almost dead. Instead, she seeks the neighborhood for a house with lights on, someone with a working phone so she can call Happytown's finest. But no one is home anywhere, apparently, and the only lights are those above in the street lamps guiding her downtown. "I'm so sorry, Richard." She steps over him, pauses when she notices the flowers clutched in his hand. "Was he coming to meet me at Mom's house? Oh God, I hope those weren't for me." She stares a second longer, frowns. "I hope not. He knows I hate roses." Angela looks away toward town. Her mom's bakery. There's a phone, and it's just a few blocks from here. There are no cars. The night is silent except for the scraping of dead tree limbs in the breeze, and a light curtain of snow drapes the street in white. She's thankful she wore her boots. Frightened and charged with adrenaline, Angela begins to run. But Richard isn't the only one. All of Happy Avenue is littered with the snow-covered dead. It's a once cheery holiday-themed decor of lights and wreaths, coated with a layer of splattered blood, and the street itself is a chaotic junkyard of abandoned cars. Some of the engines are still running, filling the air with clouds of exhaust, and with the colorful lights breaking through the haze, Angela thinks the scene is something ripped from her nightmares. What the hell happened here? My God, is why everything's so quiet? The victims have all suffered some form of blunt force trauma, and the murderer did not discriminate. Men, women, children. They're here and covered in their own gore, most faces she's known since she was a little girl, all frozen in violent expressions of rage or fear. Blank eyes staring through the dark emptiness above, and some hands clutching. Wait a minute. Angela sucks in her breath, takes a closer look at the nearest body. The town mayor grips a baseball bat in his dead hands. The bat's end is stained red, and there's a flap of skin stuck to it. Skin, with a few orphaned strands of hair. Her stomach lurches, tumbles over itself, and Angela fights to resist the nausea. She turns away, catches her breath, and steals a glance at another group of bodies near the sidewalk. They're all holding something. Shovels, rakes, a crowbar. Makeshift weapons against whoever did this to them. But a frightening thought creeps into Angela's mind, one she can't shake no matter how much she refuses to accept. Were they protecting themselves from the murderer? Or from each other? She backs away from the scene, turns back toward Town Square, and spots her mother's bakery. A cold weight settles into her gut. Mom! Oh God! Her boots thud against the pavement, and she races forward across the street. She tells herself to ignore the bodies in her periphery. Not an easy task. There are more dead here than on the street, some piled atop one another, and the walkways in Happytown Square are streaked in blood. She wants to scream, but all that manifests is the fire in her lungs. Instead, her mind screams for her, for all the faces she recognizes, and for the terror etched forever into their bleeding faces. Mom, please, God, please. The lights inside Happytown Bakery are still on, and the windows are fogged from the heat. Angela allows herself a moment to catch her breath. She whispers a short prayer, opens the door, slips inside. She's assaulted with the smell of fresh bread and pastries. Christmas music plays from the radio on the bakery counter. A banner hangs along the wall behind the counter. Welcome home, Angela, it reads. Home is splattered with blood. Mom? Her voice cracks against the silence, and the sound of its frailty troubles her. The rush of heat in the store is suffocating. She fights for breath and tries again. Mama? Movement. A floorboard creaks underfoot. Someone's here. And after all this time, Angela hasn't considered what she might do if it's not her mother. That someone else would be here is something she can't compute. So, when the figure in the gingerbread man costume steps out of the shadows, Angela doesn't react. The figure is just another part of the mise-en-scène, right at home with the display case of Danishes at the small countertop Christmas tree. He's tall, this gingerbread man, with fluffy red and green buds down his torso like buttons of frosting, and his face is a sickeningly red smile with dollops of green for eyes. His arms are covered in dark stains, and the fire axe he's holding drips blood on the bakery's otherwise pristine floor. Merry Christmas, Angie! It's the axe that breaks Angela's trance and lights the fire in her mind. The axe and the puddling blood below it. Her mother would have a fit if she knew this guy was making a mess in her bakery. Her mother. Angela's already screaming when she puts the pieces together. She's backing away blindly, seeking the door handle so she can retreat into the night, and the gingerbread man is headed straight for her. He slams a gloved hand against the door and watches her scramble away. She slips on the blood, tries to correct her balance, and falls hard on one knee. Angie! His voice is muffled, distant among all the bells chiming in her head. The impact on her knee is exquisite, igniting a burst of colors before her eyes, and she concentrates to keep from blacking out. Again, the gingerbread says her name, and she thinks she recognizes the voice. Angie, are you okay? You took quite a fall. Stay away from me. She presses her back to the glass counter and slowly climbs to her feet. Where's my mother? Where? She spots a shape on the floor behind the counter, and the rest of Angela's world glazes over in a veil of tears. Her mother lies on her side in a pool of blood. A deep gash runs down the length of her pale neck and nearly separates the old woman's head from her body. Next to her limp hand is one of her knives from the kitchen. No, no, no. Angela stares at her mother's corpse and fights off the despair taking root in her heart. She slowly turns back as the gingerbread man and her sadness transforms into rage. Why? Why did you kill my mother? Whoa! Whoa. Hang on, Angela. The gingerbread man holds out his hand in an effort to calm her. He realizes he's brandishing the fire axe and slowly sets it against the door. That wasn't me. I didn't... Angela shakes her head. She does know that voice. Chet? Oh my God, Chet? The figure shrugs and removes the mask. Chet's face is flushed, covered in sweat, and wild. He laughs in relief. I did it, Angie. I did it. I'm the last. He reads the look on her face, realizes what she's thinking, and shakes his head. No, I mean, I didn't do that. She was like that when I got here. Pretty sure that was Duncan. Remember him? She did remember Duncan. Her boyfriend from 4th grade. He liked to pick his nose and wore the same pair of jeans for weeks at a time. Chet gestures to the blood on the floor. I guess he thought she knew when you'd be here. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I took care of him. Took care of him, she repeats. Yeah, I caught him coming out the back door. Put up a fight, too. Anyway, if you want to pay your respects, I dumped his body in the dumpster behind the building. Chet, what happened here? Angela is careful not to take her eye off the man as she walks around to the other side of the counter. She glances down, makes a note of where her mother's knife is, and is already calculating the seconds she'll need to retrieve it. Everyone's dead, Chet. Did you... Me? Me? Oh, hell no, Angela. He waves his hand in the air, gestures toward the rest of the town, and expels an exasperated laugh. I mean, not all of them. Some of them. Duncan, for one. Tommy, remember Tommy? Is another one, and John, that asshole. Duncan, Tommy, John. She counts off the names in her head. Duncan from 4th grade. Tommy from high school. John, the chief of police from 2 Christmases ago. My ex-boyfriends? Well, yeah, I didn't want any competition. A pit opens in her gut and her insides race to the floor. Competition? Oh, come on, Angie. It's the same thing every year. You come home for the holiday, someone catches your eye, and they fall in love with you. Let's face it, everyone in HAPPYTOWN adores you. I know I do. He reaches into his costume and lifts the silver chain around his neck. The diamond engagement ring dangles from the chain, flaws and all. And I guess we didn't want to wait this year to find out who you'd pick? You killed each other? Because of me? Chet scrunches his face and shrugs. Well, you put it like that, it sounds really bad. It does. Look, I don't know who started it. I was making my holiday delivery to the orphanage, hence the costume, when I saw the crowds gathering in the square. Next thing I know, your old boyfriend George is yanking me out of my truck and trying to stab me with a box cutter. And after that, he looks out the window, trails off. You get the idea. Every Christmas, you're the talk of the town. Everyone wonders who's going to be your holiday fling, who might be the lucky one enough to put a ring on your finger. She waits a beat, and when Chet doesn't turn around, she kneels for the knife. Her knee screams and she nearly cries out, but Angela bites her tongue and takes the pain. She holds the knife behind her back, presses herself against the wall just as Chet turns back to face her. Angela shakes her head. But everyone in town, Chet? Even the kids? I know, right? I guess some of them went a little overboard, started attacking more than just the other dudes, but hey, look on the bright side, babe. I'm still here. He holds out his arms, flashes the goofy grin he used to make her laugh, but this time Angela doesn't find it funny. Yeah, she said, you're still here. Last man left alive. Lucky you. Lucky me. So, look, I know your mom's dead and all, but I was wondering if maybe we could go somewhere private and talk about the future. The future? What future, Chet? He jingles the necklace on his finger. Yeah, babe. You know, our future. I'm the only guy left in HAPPYTOWN this Christmas. Chet points to the ceiling. She looks up and stares at the clump of mistletoe suspended just above her head. And you're the only girl. Do the math. You crazy son of a bitch. And the words hang on her tongue, almost slip loose, but she keeps them there a moment longer. She's studying the crazed look in his eye, his dilated pupils, the rictus of palpable happiness frozen on his sweating face. So, what do you say, Angie? He takes hold of the fire axe and drags the blade along the floor behind him. We had a good thing going for a while. Don't you ever get tired of this endless cycle? The same holiday scenario playing on repeat every year? Why not settle down here in HAPPYTOWN once and for all? Angela laughs. She can't help it. It's there and out before she can stop it. And Chet stares at her in disbelief while she cackles at his stupid speech. You... Hold on. Let me catch my breath. You don't remember what I said to you the last time we talked, do you? Chet's face reddens and his smile slowly vanishes. He lifts the axe and glares at her. You know, when I said I wouldn't marry you even if you were the last man in HAPPYTOWN? Angela's still laughing. Can't help herself, and the knife slips from her fingers. It clatters to the floor, and she quickly kneels to retrieve it. A reflex she doesn't even think about, despite the throbbing pain in her knee where she fell minutes before, and one which saves her life. Something whizzes through the air over her head, followed by bits of drywall and splintered wood. The axe head is wedged just inches from where she'd stood. Angela doesn't give herself time to think. She forgets the knife and darts toward the back door. Behind her, Chet roars her name, and all of HAPPYTOWN begins to tremble. I didn't kill all those people just to end up a bachelor, Angie! And if you want to find out what happens to Angela and Chet, you can buy my new collection, Coal, Black, and Infinite, Stories of the Horrific and Strange, from Cemetery Dance, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and wherever books are sold. I'm Todd Keisling, and thank you for listening. Bye.